Spoiler! I did not in fact survive the Nordschleife gracefully. This video was produced with help from Sensit Haptics. Greetings from me, welcome back to WromWrom, the channel spreading the joy of sim racing. I'm Serta and I'll be your host for this slightly terrifying video. Quick recap, in part 1, link up here, I learned that I still had loads to figure out on the GP circuit. And that's a track I know inside and out, so imagine how well the Nordschleife proper went. Actually, don't imagine it, just watch, it's better in color. We kicked off the same way as last time. I told Titus which lines I'd take and he listened patiently. Right up until Hatzenbach, where he dropped a fact I still can't quite make myself believe.
It is flat though. It's fully flat.
Even this part here?
Yes, it's all flat.
Then there's Hoheneichen, the first corners on the lap. Here's what Titus had to say about them.
And then you have to brake kinda here.
Kinda here.
Yeah. And then lift the brake again and then brake hard again. You can cut this inside curb in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And then just take the momentum and kinda coast down here.
Yeah.
Can cut this inside curb a lot.
Another corner I'm still training and straining to nail. My first proper struggle is Adenauer Forst, but we'll get there. Titus wanted a full GP lap flat out first to see what I'd learned. Oh, and if you're new here, hit subscribe because watching me suffer through this track is apparently a whole series now. Turns out something stuck because turn 10 got this reaction.
I'm so proud. I'm so proud.
Small victories, but I'll take them. If that got even a smirk out of you, a like actually helps more than you'd think. Right, back to suffering. Because when we hit the Nordschleife, it all fell apart almost immediately.
No.
It's your nemesis corner.
Yeah.
After I somehow survived up to Adenauer Forst, we did what we always do, watch the replay. Painful, useful, mostly painful. And once again, Titus spotted something on the GP track I've been getting wrong the whole time. The lessons never stop with this man.
So your braking point is okay. What we try to do here is we try to brake in this line to the curbs, and then when we release the brakes, we try to turn in. That's what I was trying to tell you,
Okay.
and which you also tried to do.
Remember in part 1 when I learned to take corner 1 in first gear? Turns out there's an additional reason for that too.
And if you would go to the first gear here, for example, you would get some deceleration, some more deceleration,
And some turning.
and some rotation, exactly.
Fair warning, this next tip might be Assetto Corsa Competizione specific, so test it in other sims at your own risk. Corner 5 of the GP track.
So what we see here is there is still track. We can still use this.
Okay.
We can knock over these cones. We don't need them. They are actually funny when they fly away. And then we can go over this rumble strip and cut back to the corner here.
Okay.
For once I actually did something right. The Schumacher is. Naturally, there was still room to improve.
For Schumacher is, you actually got the right idea here. You just lift the throttle, which I love, by the way. You don't brake. But what you can do is you don't lift fully. You can just lift halfway. The car still will get its rotation, but you don't lose as much speed.
And corner 10, the one most of us probably take wrong.
So then the corner that I'm most proud of you for now, because you actually did what I said to you. You brake on the AstroTurf. You can do more, but you don't need to. It's totally fine this way. And then as you see, you feel like you turn in as soon as you brake, but your brain still tells you, okay, you need to brake and then turn in. And that's exactly what you did. And as you can see is, you kind of get to the inside. So what this tells us, you need to brake a little bit earlier to actually cut this corner.
Yeah.
And if you cut it, you get some more rotation in the car. And this rotation will bring you around here.
Exactly, not throw me out. Like
Not throw you out as crazy, but it will still, you will still need to use auto track.
Right, GP track sorted. more or less. Now the real test, the Nordschleife itself and my increasingly messy attempts to survive it. One habit I can't seem to shake, not using the full width of the track. I have to remind myself constantly and force myself every single lap.
So this corner, if you are more to the outside, you can cut back later, and this messes you up here as well. So then here once again, what is this?
Right, let's get into it properly, starting with Hatzenbach.
Here, what I try to do is I go really, really wide.
Okay.
I go all the way to the outside because I try to take the next corner flat.
But it's not all disaster. There are things I do get right, occasionally.
So then here you actually kind of got close to the edge of the track. So that's why I was amazed for you to get this corner right for the first time. Yeah, you brake, then you lift the brake. So you kind of try braking. Yeah, and then you go on the brake again. So this is correct. That's the correct way to do it. There's of course no routine yet because you've never really done it that way before, at least not today. And then you cut this one. So this is perfect. So just get more routine into it, more flow into it. Get on the throttle a bit earlier, take more speed through the second part of the corner. So it actually pushes you a bit wider, but playing it safe here is totally acceptable.
Titus takes another corner flat, and after a lot of intensive training, I'm slowly getting there too. Schwedenkreuz into Arnberg looks the part at least.
And speaking of flat, actually a lot of speed here. This braking maneuver, I thought you were for sure gonna die, but somehow you lived. But it is fine, but you don't need it. You don't need it. You could see when you're in this corner, of course, it gets a bit light because it's over the crest. But this braking does nothing for you, apart from offsetting your car. It's now sideways.
Okay.
And your arrow has to pull you.
So I should brake later.
There's no need to brake in this corner at all.
No need to brake in this corner?
It's flat, it's fully flat. No need to lift at all. You can just, if you go all the way to the left and just turn it in, you can go flat through here.
Okay.
It's scary, but it works.
Okay.
And then, because of that, you are in throttle fully once again. Usually you would need to brake kind of here, but we are blazing past that. Braking here and going straight.
And now, the part I've been dreading. Adenauer Forst. I've practiced this corner more times than I'd like to admit, and I'm still not getting it right. Here's why it's such a nightmare.
But then you didn't use all the track here, because this is still the old layout. We still have the small exit curb of Säure. We can go fully over it, and this opens up the next part of the corner so much more. I mean, you opened up the corner because you went slow, but when we are later going to take it fast, you will take this curb and just abuse it. Just fly over it. No questions asked. Adenauer Forst, this is a tricky one.
Yeah.
It is tricky. What you try to do here is you go for a late apex in this first part of the corner. Go for a late apex. Positions your car here, way on the inside, which you didn't do yet. So that means your car is still looking to the right. Usually it should look to this next inside curb. And then you kind of follow these stripes actually. So you not quite touch it, but go towards the inside and decelerate and leave the space here on the inside and cut back here in the end.
Okay.
Yeah, cutting back here in the end to go fully towards the left. So we're coasting past this one, going to the outside, not on the curb, a little bit more to the middle kinda, to be safe. And then having a late apex for this corner. To be on the left side here, to get a good angle for this next right-hander. And then we can get an exit.
We had another go, and this time got further than Adenauer Forst. Along the way, I picked up a tip I now try to apply everywhere, not just on this track.
And don't get lazy in the steering. So when you go from left to right, you go like, but you can go,
All right.
and then you are way quicker.
By the way, you can also get training from Titus, as he can be booked through the GSR website. And I can recommend it because if he keeps calm with my driving, imagine how relaxed training with him can be with a better driver, which is almost everyone. For this round, we also switched on the feedback from the Sense-It cushions properly, since it had been set too low to actually help me feel what the car was doing. Kallenhardt has a nickname, the Miss Hit Miss Corners. Here's why.
So it means that you just need to hit the middle one,
Yes.
and the other ones you ignore. Okay.
Yes.
And now finally I understand why I've never once gotten Wehrseifen right.
You do it as a double apex here as well. So
Ah.
you go, when you brake, before the right hand kink, you brake, then you lift the brake again, but not fully, I think. And then you go full on the brake to go in a straight line and get off the brake, trail it off, and turn in to get the second apex, the later one.
Oh, okay, I'll have to remember that. That's the first point, and then do it.
I'll be honest, that one's going to take me a while. In ACC at least, though I've noticed it on other sims too, there's a genuinely reliable braking point for Bergwerk.
And you see this one. When this is about to leave your main monitor, you just slam the brakes.
Ah, okay.
At least try to do it. And aim the car towards this curb, but not touch it.
Okay.
Because this is a late apex corner. And I think if you try to just look at this sign, get your braking marker, because there's nothing else here that you can use.
Yeah.
Then you can get this corner and not crash. And maybe not pay a visit to this barn that is up there. This little shed down here that you like to visit all these other labs.
Yeah.
And our apex would be back here.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the next part is just, it's kind of straight. It's uphill and it's a bit twisty, but it's all full throttle up into the mood curve. And we need all the speed that we can get. So this corner here is so important.
Time to actually apply all of this.
And once again, try to feel what the car is doing. Try to feel the oversteer, the understeer. Now that's the line.
Turning up the cushion feedback made a real difference here. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. It's a big part of why the track finally started clicking. Titus coaching helped too, presumably. A few times I overcorrected, trying just a bit too hard to use the whole track.
Here I always go too far to the right.
You want to make me proud so bad.
Yeah. Whoops, I think I touched the wall.
Yes. And don't forget your nemesis.
Yeah. That's not yet. Now it is. Oh! Did I?
You clip the grass, you clip the grass.
Ah.
And sometimes you take the small wins where you can get them.
Yeah. I noticed on the back in the cushions what my rear tires were doing.
That's where we left it for the day. Next time we find out whether any of this training actually paid off, because we're comparing lap times. But before you go, there's things I picked up from Titus that you can take with you onto any track. Use the whole track and the corners get easier. Try to get more of it flat or at least brake free using throttle lift instead. And learn which curbs reward you and which ones will punish you. If this channel's worth more than $5 a month to you, our Patreon would love to hear from you. Exclusive content, actual input on the channel, and our eternal gratitude.